doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to Queen V's community and welcome to our channel. In this video, guys, I want to talk to you about the effects of childhood abuse on children. I want to talk to you guys about what happened to children when they've been abused, they've been tortured, when they have experienced harassment, then when they have experienced neglect, when they have experienced physical abuse, and the list goes on in their lives, the impact of it on children, some of the effects of it on children. If you are interested, let's jump into the video. One of the effects of abuse is the psychological side of it, the psychological effect on children. When they receive an abuse, when they experience abuse, it can affect their mental health, it can affect their emotional health. Psychologically, it can affect them as well, and that can create isolation in their lives. That can create lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence. For example, they will go to school, and because they don't feel love at home, they go to school and show destructive behavior because they want to seek attention from people, and they seek the attention negatively. So sometimes the school will pick this up and try to work with the family, and if it's not working, then they get the social worker involved to come and provide support and services to help the child within the family home. Another effect that can have on a child or children when they have experienced abuse, neglect, is about feeling clingy. They can be very clingy on people, outsiders, strangers even, because they are not feeling love at home. Some of them become bedwetting. They can wet themselves during the night. Some of them, even at school, they can wet themselves. They are not able to control their bladder because the effects of the abuse have affected their psychological and their physiological needs, and that affects them, their health as well. So abuse is very drastic. Abuse is very concerning. Abuse is very significant. The impact of it is so serious on some of the children who have been exposed to abuse. One of the effects of a child witnessing domestic violence is about the impact it has on the child. The child can go to school very weepy, crying all the time at school, especially when they see that their parents are fighting all the time. Physical fights, like physical altercation, when they are beating one another and taking implements to smash the home around, and that child can become very withdrawn as well when they go to school. So there are so many effects that can have on a child when they are experiencing neglect, abuse, physical abuse, harm at home, in the environment when they are living. The effect of it as well, a child can become very aggressive. Some children, when they go to school, and they are so very aggressive because they go home and they are being beaten up. Anything they do, they are being stamped out. The parents are using implements to beat them up. So when they go to school, they also want to show and demonstrate it at school to their friends. And so they become very aggressive and very violent towards their friends at school, and even towards some of the teachers at school. These are some of the effects of domestic violence, impact of physical abuse, emotional abuse that will have on a child. Being very violent and being very aggressive. The behavior being very violent, the behavior being very aggressive. When a child is not being loved at home, it has its own negative impact. They think that they are not loved. They feel that nobody cares for them. They feel that the world doesn't like them. So unfortunately, sometimes it will lead them to join gangs because they want to feel a sense of belonging. And so if parents are not helping me, if parents are not loving me, then maybe I will go out there and find friends that will love me. But unfortunately, sometimes they don't even get the good friendship that will love them. They're normally drawn into gang affiliation, and that can affect them. That can lead them to criminality. That can lead them to end up in prison as well. The effect of significant harm is very broad. So one of it is when a child is not getting the love and attention they deserve at home, then they go to school, they cannot even concentrate well. It affects their performance at school. When parents supposed to take their children to school and they are sleeping all day because they're taking drugs, because they've gone clubbing all night and they cannot even wake up in the morning to take their children to school, and it affects their punctuality at school, their attendance at school, and that's when the school can raise an alarm because they are not happy with what is happening to their child. So they can raise an alarm to children's service to get involved to provide support and services as well for the family. The effects of childhood abuse and neglect is about not being able to form good relationship. They don't have the ability to form good and positive relationship with their peers as well, and also the attainment is affected as well. They are not even being able to do their homework, their coursework, because they come home and there's no love at home. They come home and there's a lot of arguments at home and they are not able to concentrate at home, and it can affect their attainment as school as well. Effect of abuse on children at home, or the effect of abuse on children by their caregivers, is about driving the child away because the child is not loved at home. So like I said, they join a negative friendship and they can be exploited. County lies is something that a child can be exposed to when they are not loved at home and they go and form negative friendship. Some of the children, they also get involved in money laundering. They use maybe their card or the card of a parent to start doing all these fraudulent activities, and what will lead them to is about criminal activities, for them to be known by the police and go to prison. That is the effect of neglect and abuse on children here in UK. The sad reality is that when a child is not loved at home and they're receiving a number of abuse and neglect and torture from their own caregivers, they end up going away to look for the love they are craving for, and they are exploited. There's something called CSE concern, child sexual exploitation. So within the gang affiliation, there may be older men or older people in the gangs, and they take advantage of the younger people because they don't have appropriate adults in their lives. So the adults take advantage of them. They use little incentives to lure them into exploitation, and that is very, very extremely concerning. So as parents, what we need to do is to be mindful of all this so we can be able to provide conducive environment for our children. If you want your child to do well, then you try your best to love them as much as possible, providing good enough parenting to them so they can remain at home with you as much as possible and take the direction from you as much as possible. When young people are not loved at home, when children are not loved at home, they can involve in a number of criminal activities. Like I said, drug and alcohol misuse can be one of the issues they will be experiencing. They can be used to push drugs, they can be used to sell drugs, they can be used to take drugs themselves, and they become addicts on drugs, and that affects them completely. And if they don't seek help and support, then it means that they can end up in rehab, they can end up in prison, and they can end up not even doing anything, just sleeping in and not be doing anything productive for their future, for their lives. Some of the effects of abuse, some of the effects of significant harm is about self-harming on the child. Young people, some children, unfortunately, when they experience abuse and neglect in their life, then they start cutting themselves, they start harming themselves, they are not happy about their life, and the way they have to say it is to put damage to themselves, to cause damage to themselves, and that is significant, that is very worrying. So the effect of childhood abuse have a diverse impact on the mental health of the children, the physical health of the children, the emotional health of the children. So abuse needs to stop. That's why the government have implemented laws, legislations, and policies to protect vulnerable children. Children are very vulnerable. Children are very innocent. Come on. A child, when they're talking to you, can see that this is a child. There's no way a child knows so much like an adult. So we, the adults, we have responsibility to keep our children safe. Caregivers, our responsibility to make sure that the child's safety is being promoted, the child welfare is being promoted. And if you are not able to do so, find somebody else who can do for you. If you are struggling to do so, then you need to seek help and advice. And please, abuse to children needs to stop, because it has a negative diverse effect on the general well-being of that particular child. I'm here to share ideas to students, newly qualified, and people who are new into social work. So you will find my videos helpful if you are somebody who is more interested in topics that relates to social work. Yes, students, newly qualified, and people who are overseas workers, migrants who are here and they are new into UK. You will find my videos very helpful. So I want to end by saying your dreams and aspirations can come true. Whatever you plan to do can come true, you never know. But you need to work hard towards anything that you plan to do, because it will never be given to you on a gold plate. It will never be given to you on a silver plate. You need to work hard towards it. And one day, you never know, it can come to pass. Thanks for watching, and see you on my next video. Bye.